Brahman or Paraman. Hinduism and the Hindu culture consider Brahman as the supreme spirit, Atman or God, and the divine energy that unifies and sustains all life in this universe. Brahman is considered identical to Ishvara, who is identified by many as Shiva, one of the Trinity gods. Some consider Ishvara as Vishnu, yet another group considers Brahman as Brahma. To avoid confusion, let us call the Supreme Spirit Brahman or Paraman for our discussion. He is completely different from the Trinity gods, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Paraman and Brahma may sound similar, yet they are different in their respective functions. There are certain similarities in their creative functions, but their areas of operation are entirely different and very clearly demarcated. Since the term Paraman refers to the Supreme Spirit, it must have evolved from the word para in Tamil, meaning everywhere or all over. Thus, only the Supreme Spirit should be called Paraman. This term should not be used to refer to the Trinity god Brahma. The term Paraman, possibly Paramanu, is the combination of two words, para and anu. Anu or manu means minute cell or atom or organism. Thus, Paraman is called the Supreme Spirit in every atom. As mentioned elsewhere, the human body is considered the universe by Vedic and Puranic texts. Every limb or portion of the human body or the whole universe, whole human body, exists or stems from the Paraman. Manu is considered the first man or the progenitor of humanity and as such could be associated with the reproductive system. Cells are considered the building blocks of life. There are two major classifications of cells in the human body: reproductive cells and somatic cells. Reproductive cells are known as gametes or germ cells. They contain 23 unpaired chromosomes. Somatic cells are known as body cells and contain 46 chromosomes organized into 23 pairs. The Supreme Spirit or Paraman is none other than the human germ cells, ovum, female egg, and sperm, male cell. They are the reasons or basis for the existence of the universe, human body. Paraman is linked to Hiranyagarbha. Garbha means uterus, thus gives birth to the universe, human body. The uterus is the place where both male and female germ cells meet and develop into a fully grown baby. This is called an act of creation at a superior or first level. Brahma, one of the Trinity gods, created Paraman. Undertakes or continues the creative function such as multiplication of somatic body cells and germ cells along with his other duties. Brahma, considered the brain, is the controlling tower of the human body. This kind of creation is a secondary level function within the human body. The question of which comes first from which arises. Did germ cells, gametes, come first, or did the human body comes first? The question and the answer are cyclical. The human embryos are created out of germ cells, gametes, and the germ cells are created inside the human body. Hindu philosophy considers that Paraman, being the Hiranyagarbha, takes many forms and manifests as thousands of gods. Human organs are, therefore, manifestations of fertilization that has taken place and they are anthropomorphically mentioned as gods. There is a high possibility that the word God has come out of gonad, another word for the male sex organ, testis, and the female sex organ, ovary. There is another English word, goad, which means spear or thorn, something which urges or stimulates action. Goad also refers to a pointed rod used to prod an animal. The pronunciation of goad also sounds like God. Considering the above meaning, human gonads, sperm and ovum prod fetal growth. The male sperm is shaped as spear, veil, which penetrates the ovum and sets human growth into motion. The Trinity gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, come into the limelight only when the germ cell, Paraman, is fertilized and grows into an embryo. The human body is divided into three parts. On the lines of modern medicinal classification, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, which are made up of different kinds of cells, and each Trinity god is allocated to each segment of the human body. Brain and nervous system, etc. to Brahma, digestive and endocrine areas, etc. to Vishnu, procreative aspects, etc. to Shiva. These are discussed in their respective chapters. These distinctions are necessary to understand Vedic Puranic texts correctly. Atharva Veda says, "Great indeed are the Devas, who have sprung out of Paraman." Hindu scripts say that there are 330 million Devas, likened to the human gene basis, estimated to be around 310 to 320 million. Genes come with chromosomes. On fertilization, male haploid chromosomes fuse with female haploid chromosomes and create full chromosomes, the embryo. Hindu script translation does mention Devas as gods, gods as Devas in many places. This transposition is understandable under the light of the misunderstanding of Puranic scripts. Devas, Devaloka, Devendra are related to Indra, who is Indriyam, seminal fluid of the human body. Indriyam is a broader term consisting of chromosomes, germ cells, and other secretions. Hindu philosophy accepts that Paraman and Brahma are different and independent, even though at many places it considers both the same. Paraman is referred to as Atman or soul and is correct in relation to germ cell. The germ cell creates the human body. Brahma was born to Paraman and his wife Maya. Ma denotes big or beginning. Ya means yagna, referring to fusion or metabolic activities. Maya normally means illusion or unexplained creation. Even though we are aware that fertilization takes place when a female egg and male sperm merge, we are still not knowledgeable about how it happens. That is Maya. Ma is the name for green gram, also called Mada or Mudga in Sanskrit. Its botanical name is Phaseolus mungo. It is a nutritious food supplement. Closely related to the word Maya is Yama, and he is the god of death. Yama is considered the human heart, and it is the first organ to develop in a human embryo. According to Puranic stories, water was everywhere, and there emerged a golden egg, Anda, and Paraman was born inside. Fertilization in human beings takes place only in a female egg called ovum with the help of male sperm that penetrates the female egg. We, human beings, are multicellular, and our cells are called eukaryotic. The cells contain membrane-bound compartments in which specific metabolic activities take place. This process was referred to by the Puranic texts as Yagna at Naimisharanya. Neithal in Tamil is a geographical reference to areas near the sea. The word Naimi may be derived from Neithal to mean salty. There exists a cell nucleus which houses the cell's DNA. The cell is filled with salty cytoplasm and covered by a membrane which protects it from its external environment. In fact, human chromosomes are made up of nucleic acid called deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. The golden egg must be the cell nucleus, which in turn is called Paraman. When a sperm, male germ cell, enters the female egg, ovum, fertilization takes place. It produces a cell called zygote. Paraman is called Swayambhu since he can create himself. How does he create himself? Each cell is self-contained and self-sustaining. It can take in nutrients and convert it into energy, carry out specialized functions, and is capable of reproducing if necessary. A cell's function is called metabolism, and it is of two types, catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is a process by which a cell breaks down complex molecules to produce energy. Anabolism is a process by which a cell uses the produced energy to construct complex molecules and perform biological functions. Thus, cell is self-contained to act on its own and is capable of many functions. It is called Swayambhu by Vedic or Hindu or Hindu texts. Swayambhu, Swayam plus Bhu. Suyam in Tamil means self, Bhu means born, and totally means self-born. Paraman is said to have created heaven, Svarga, and earth, Prithvi, by splitting the golden egg into two halves. The chieftain of heaven or Svarga Loga is Indiran. Hence it is called Indraloga. Another name for Indraloka is Devaloka, since the main occupants are called Devas, who are in fact human genes. Varga and Svarga means lineal descendants of human generation, which comes from procreation only. Thus, one half of the egg represents human germ cell or sex cell. Earth or Prithvi is another half representing the body cell or somatic cell. These cells are responsible for the construction of the whole human body and, in fact, come under the purview of Brahma, who acts as an agent of Paraman. Human skin, bones, blood, muscles, internal organs, and all tissues are made up of somatic or body cells. Puranic texts are very clear and have never interpreted Devas as gods who are other than Devas and vice versa. After creating heaven, germ cell, and earth, body or somatic cell, Brahma gave birth to a man called Swayambhu Manu and a woman called Satarupa. Brahma is considered the ectoderm, germ layer. Swayambhu Manu may represent epithelial tissue that creates skin, linings of mouth, anus, nostrils, sweat glands, hair, nails, tooth enamel, etc. Manu comes from Anu, which means atom, and is a base for the word Manus, meaning human. Under Hinduism, Manu is known as legendary king who has laid down rules for human society and is responsible for the creation of the Indian caste system. It is easily understandable that Manu and his rules are about cell structure. Rupa means figure, outline, or body representing neural tissues that result in the spinal cord, peripheral nerves, brain, etc. Puranic texts have taken pains to explain a single subject, topic, or incident in many ways to make people understand the subject correctly. How do followers understand it today? Their understanding of the contents are far from the spirit of the text. Swayambhu Manu and Satarupa had 3 sons named Uttanapada, Priyavrata, and Veera. Who and what are they? These 3 sons can be compared with 3 divisions, namely germ layers at gastrula in modern medicine. After zygote, the next stages in the process of cell development are blastula and gastrula. During blastula, a fluid-filled cavity is created, surrounded by sheets of cells. During gastrulation, cells undergo the process of cell division, invasion, migration, etc. to form 3 germ layers, which are called triploblastic. This is the trinity referred to in the Puranic texts. The uterus is also referred to as trisanga, meaning tri-junction, where there are 3 parts, 2 leading to fallopian tubes and 1 to the cervix. These 3 germ layers are called endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm. In other words, the 3 sons of Manu and Satarupa are the 3 germ layers. These layers later become the areas of the rule of the Trinity gods. The descendants of these 3 sons, germ or tissue layers, rule over the universe. The human body. The entire human body is made up of cells which stem from these 3 germ layers. Uttanapada can be comfortably compared to ectoderm areas which come under the purview of Brahma, to brain, nervous system and peripheral nervous system, spinal cord, skin, retina, lens and cornea of eye, dentin, facial cartilage, mouth and nasal cavity and posterior pituitary. Uttar and Uttarayana refers to the north, and the head of the human body, which houses the brain, is equated to the Himalayas in northern India. Priyavrata can be compared to endoderm, areas under the purview of Vishnu, gastrointestinal tract, respiratory tract, endocrine glands, and organs such as liver and pancreas. Vrata relates to food consumption, which preserves the body, the domain of Vishnu. Veera can be compared to the mesoderm, areas under the purview of Shiva, bones, circulatory system, connective tissues, excretory tract, muscles, reproductive system, and urinary system. Daksha, father of Parvati and father-in-law of Shiva, used to insult Shiva, calling him a lunatic for wearing a garland of skulls and bones while wandering around cemeteries. Of course, there are overlaps at times over these areas, and those are sorted out by the Trinity gods in their various encounters. The relationships mentioned in the Puranic stories have some relevance to these. There are some deviations between the classifications in Puranic texts and modern medical texts, but both are valid considering their conceptualization. There are many Puranic stories to explain the process of balastula and gastrula during embryo cell development. Uttanapada's son was Dhruva, who is considered the pole star. A king, Prachina Varahi, in Dhruva's line had 10 sons called Prachitas. They went to perform tapasya for many years instead of looking after their subjects. The kingdom had no ruler and was suffering. People were dying, and thick forests had sprung up. Prachayas grew angry when they heard the bad news about their kingdom's plight, and they held the forest responsible for their sufferings. They created wind, Vayu, and fire, Agni, from their mouths and started burning down the forest. Vayu represents gas exchange or movement, and Agni represents the metabolism within the human body. These two activities happen quite often in the human body as a developmental process. To cool down the Prachayas, the moon god Soma or Chandra brought a beautiful girl called Marisha and requested the Prachitas to marry her. Marisha means deer. Maricha means Moringa oleifera, lamb, also known as Murunga. It was predicted that she would bear a son named Daksha who would rule the world. By now, we know that soma is somatic cell, body or tissue cell. The embryonic developmental process brings in the development of body tissues. Why should the son, tissue, be called Daksha? How can he rule over the world? Fertilization of germ cells, ovum and sperm, undergo lots of changes in creating human beings. During the process, it also creates germ cells within the body for further reproduction. This germ cell is called Daksha. Daksha sounds like Dasa, which means tissue. Daksha also sounds like Dakshin, which means south. Why south? Dhruva, who is considered the pole star, North Star, occupies a place in the brain which is considered the northern side of the human body. The reproductive organs, which can produce germ cells, occupy the southern side of the body. Hence, Prachita's son is called Daksha. He is known as Prajapati, Praja meaning subjects, and Pati meaning master. Daksha is the father of Parvati, wife of Shiva. Daksha creates or owns body developments through Shiva and Parvati, who are the pituitary and pineal glands. Daksha is also mentioned as the son of Brahma in many scripts, the female germ cell. Even though he is the son of Prachitas originally, he comes out of first stage germ cell only. The fertilization of two germ cells, ovum and sperm, result in the production of a second stage germ cell, maybe ovum or sperm and a somatic cell. Some Hindu texts consider Prachitas and Daksha one and the same. Thus, Uttanapada will not come in between, and it matches with the triploblastic concept. The birth or evolution of the somatic cell, body cell, and the germ cell, sex cell, out of Paraman was referred to by the Puranic texts in a different way. Paraman gave birth to 7 great sages, and they are Marichi, Atri, Angirasa, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, and Vasishta. They are considered body cells relating to skin, bones, blood, nerves, muscle, internal organs, and connective tissues. Paraman is also called Rudra. Rut is sexual roar, and sage Sanat Kumara both refer to sex cells. Rudra refers to the ovum, and Sanat Kumara refers to sperm. The shape of Rudraksha, Eliocarpus ganitris, resembles the jasmine flower and ovum. Sanat Kumara is explained under the chapter Kartikeyan. Paraman also created sages, Brigu and Narada. Narada was also said to have been born to Daksha's daughter Priya and her husband Brahma. Priya is the Sanskrit name for Katu Mallika, Jasminum angustifolium, whose other names are Supuja, Malati, and Vanamalti. Priya in Tamil means inseparable and is related to Narada, who is considered to be neuron, a chemical messenger. Both Brahma and Paraman are always depicted with four heads. Brahman created a female called Satarupa, somatic or body cell, during the process of his creation of the universe, human body. He was infatuated by her beauty. Satarupa moved in different directions to avoid his gaze, but Brahma developed a head for each direction in addition to his existing head, which makes five heads. Shiva cut off the original head to teach him a lesson for growing infatuated with his own daughter. Shiva also directed that there will be no worshipping of unholy Brahma. Shiva and Vishnu continue to be worshipped, ignoring Brahma. Only two temples are available in the whole of India for Brahma. Why this partiality? Shiva refers to human blood, related to reproductive activities, and is attached to many important organs of the human body. Vishnu refers to preservative activities and is attached to many related organs of the human body. Both these groups of organs and their functions are visible, and maintaining them is of utmost importance for a healthy lifestyle. Thus, people are advised to take care of those related organs through worship and related rituals. Rituals and worship are nothing but a way for a certain part of the human body to be maintained or cared for. Are we following the rituals correctly as prescribed? No. Mainly because we do not understand the spirit behind Hindu or Hindu scriptures. We are inclined just to chant the mantras instead of understanding and practicing them. Why is Brahma shown with four heads? What does the Indus Valley civilization want to convey through this? They are trying to tell us about human chromosomes, chromosomes in germ cells, and chromosomes in somatic body cells. If we look at Hindu swastika symbol and the human chromosome, we can see the similarities. Initially, the chromosome is in the form of a thread, and the single chromosome called chromatid will look like straight line or thread duplication process. On duplication, the single chromosome doubles and there is a knot-like portion in the middle which is called centromere. These four arms, chromatid of double chromosomes with centromere, are possibly referred to as the four faces of Brahman, god of creation, in turn germ cells or somatic body cells. Swastika, Su plus Asti plus Ka, consists of Su, meaning good or well in Greek, and thus Swasti means well-being. Ka in Vedic texts mostly refers to and is associated with human blood and go. The words Kala, Kali, Kalayuda, etc. refer to blood-related functions only. Thus, swastika refers to the well-being of human blood. The symbol also resembles a four-bladed propeller which pushes forward an ocean-going vessel. This is precisely what is done by human chromosomes, pushing forward generation after generation. This process is widely known as immortality or rebirth or reincarnation without understanding the basic concepts of a cell cycle, which is the human cycle. During the cell division process, the centromere of the chromosome will split or break away from the chromosome. This process of splitting is referred to as Shiva's cutting or slaying of the fifth head of Brahma. According to Puranic stories, the place where Shiva cuts off Brahma's fifth head is called Rudra Tirtha, which happens during sexual excitement or union. These incidents of cutting will recur every time there is cell replication and division. Rudra Bhava shows the sign of ferociousness, and it also includes roar. According to Webster's dictionary, Rut means roar or an annually recurrent state of sexual excitement in male deer. Tirtha, Ti plus Ir plus Ta, is a holy place or water. Ti means fire or metabolic activity. Ra means come. Ta means flow. Thus, Tirtha is a place where metabolic activity takes place or flows. After losing his fifth head, Brahma was called Chaturmukha. When a Puranic story mentions something with mukha, face, it refers to the face of some animal, bird, etc. Chatur means four. Mukha means face. Thus, Chaturmukha means four faces. This may seem correct in normal parlance, but according to convention, number 4 cannot have a face since it is not a living being. Then what is it? Is it a cat's face? The word cat comes from the Latin word catus or cata, Webster's dictionary, meaning a carnivorous mammal. Chatur must be catus, meaning the animal cat. Look at the eyes of a cat. Each eye will have a single line. When the centromere of a chromosome is split, the severed chromosome will look like a single line of a cat's eye. The single line is the haploid cell which are split in the process of cell division. Vedic texts mention that Brahman has given birth to 4 Kumaras, and they are called Katursana. The 4 sons are Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanadana, and Sanat Kumara. Kumara refers to baby or child and directly relates to the germ cells which are capable of reproduction. They refer to 4 haploid cells split under the meiosis process. The turning of the Brahma's head based on Shatarupa's movements refer to the coiling of chromosomes. Sanatana Dharma must be read as Sanatana Dharma since it refers to birth. Many believe that Hindu philosophy is based on Sanatana Dharma, but no one can explain what Sanatana Dharma is. It is nothing but childbirth, as Sanatana means children. Brahma is a human germ cell, is the foundation or basis for human creation and human cycle. The process is cyclical. Germ cells result in human beings. Human beings create germ cells, and creation goes on and on. Brahma as a human somatic or body cell acts as a building block of the human body. The swastika symbol resembles a person who is on the run. It is important for us to understand the cell cycle. The cell cycle, eukaryotic cells in the human body, takes place through 2 types of cell division, mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis takes place in somatic or body cells. Mitosis is a process by which a cell is separated into 2 identical daughter cells. Each daughter cell will be a duplicate of the original cell in all respects and contain the genome of the original cell. Individual daughter cells will again divide into 2 daughter cells through repetition of the same process. This process is referred to as Sagara and Prati Sagara in Vedic and Puranic texts. In the word Saga plus Ra, Saga in Tamil means not dead. Ra means come. Thus, Sa, Ga, Ra refers to creation. Prati Sagara means copying or replication. Some Puranic texts mention Sagara as Sarga and Prati Sarga as Prati Sarga. Mitosis comes from the Greek mitos, meaning thread. The pronunciation sound of the word mitosis resembles the sound of the word cut, which is exactly the process that is taking place. Under mitosis, cells replicate and then cut, replicate and then cut. Meson is a root from Old High German for the word mite, which means cut. A mite is a small acarid that infests animals, plants, etc. Meiosis happens in germ, sex cells only and is the basis for sexual reproduction. Meiosis is a process by which one diploid, full chromosome, cell transforms into 4 haploid, half chromosome cells. In other words, a diploid cell's genome is replicated once and separated twice, producing or transforming into 4 sets of haploid cells. The resultant haploid cells will fertilize with other haploid cells of the opposite sex to form a diploid cell again. The cyclical process of separation by meiosis and genetic recombination through fertilization is called life cycle. In other words, Brahman's activities are also called life cycle. Hence, Brahman is depicted with 4 heads. Mitosis and meiosis clearly spell out the difference between Paraman and Brahma. On this basis, Brahma is called an agent of Paraman. The haploid cell out of meiotic process are known as Chaturmukha or Catus Mukha, cat's face. The sound of the word meiosis, myo, resembles the sound that is made by a cat, meow. Under modern medical science, meiosis was discovered and described for the first time in sea urchin eggs in 1876 by the noted German biologist Oscar Hertwig, 1849 to 1922. It was described again in 1883 by Belgian zoologist Edouard van Beneden, 1846 to 1910, in Acaris worms' eggs. The significance of meiosis for reproduction and inheritance, however, was described only in 1890 by German biologist August Weismann, 1834 to 1914, who noted that two cell divisions were necessary to transform one diploid cell into four haploid cells if the number of chromosomes had to be maintained. In 1911, the American geneticist Thomas Hunt Morgan, 1866 to 1945, observed a crossover in Drosophila melanogaster and provided the first true genetic interpretation of meiosis. But Vedic texts have mentioned these processes 5,000 years ago. Hindu texts have stopped with mentioning Brahman as Atman or soul. According to them, all other aspects relate to Brahma, the Trinity God. We can summarize saying Brahman or Paraman refers to human germ, sex cell, and Brahma refers to human somatic, body cell, which proliferates along with the growth of the human body. Humans have an estimated 100 trillion or 10 to the power 14 cells. It is called a Mahayuga, 10 to the power 14, under the Hindu unit of measurements. Mahayuga is the total of Satya or Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Thus, each yuga refers to the stages of human cell development and its condition. Yugas do not refer to the period of time as described by Hinduism.